It is very difficult to study. Am I right or wrong? I don't think it is difficult to do anything in life. If you have a will to do, there should be a will to win. If you have a will, if there is a will, there is a way. Am I right? Welcome to Rendezvous in English with Lifestyle. We were using a comma, a short pause in English. A short pause in life indicates problems. But a short pause in language of English indicates that we have to stop for a while. So हमने कुछ रूल्स पढ़े थे, important words we had studied कि nominative absolute में comma use किया जाता है, it is used in case in apposition and it is also used with participles. If you remember, if you have studied the last episode, that's very nice. Do practice. If you haven't studied the last episode, please go back and study the previous episode and then come back again so that you can learn more about the topic of comma. Because correct learning is very, very necessary for doing things in a right way. As I gave you the example of Robert Frost last time. इतने सारे examples हैं, इतने सारे लोग हैं who have been working really hard. The IPL was going on earlier, and in the IPL, many new players emerged from various small districts of our country. How their parents, how their family members have significantly contributed in their lives and have helped them to grow, to come out of this tough situation, and finally they have been selected. You read their story, you would definitely feel that nothing is easy in life. A boy who was selected, this Priyansh, had to travel 12 to 15 kilometers on a bicycle. Priyansh Arya, the one who scored a century, 144 runs he made in the Hyderabad match. If you remember, if you had seen where Hyderabad scored 244, 47, something around, isn't it? In that Indian Premier League match, cricket match. So his father dedicated lots and lots of time, and so you read their stories, and then only you can know that how difficult it is to do anything in life. But the champion is one who doesn't get bogged down. Champion कौन है? जो इन सब चीजों से परेशान नहीं होता है. In the today's episode, once again, we are going to deal with punctuation. हम फिर से पंक्चुएशन को डील करते हैं, आगे के रूल्स पढ़ते हैं. तो पहला रूल आज का है फॉर सेपरेटिंग क्लॉजेस. क्लॉज क्या होते हैं? इफ यू रिमेंबर, इट इज यूज्ड फॉर सेपरेटिंग क्लॉजेस. तो क्लॉज क्या होते हैं? याद है कुछ? भूल गए? If you remember, I have taught that also. Clauses which contains a subject and a verb, है ना? But it is not a sentence. But sentence नहीं है. जैसे, if I write a sentence, if you work hard, then you will succeed. So this is a clause and this is a sentence. Why it's a clause? Because it does not give a complete meaning. And this is a sentence because it gives a complete meaning. So clause is a part of a sentence, but may not be a sentence necessarily. Every sentence has a clause, but a clause cannot be a sentence. A sentence is a sentence, but a clause cannot be a sentence. बुझे? So if you work hard, दिस इज अ क्लॉज. सो जब हम एक क्लॉज को लिखते हैं तो उसको सेपरेट करने के लिए हम कॉमा का यूज करते हैं. जैसे अगर हम लिखें कोई ऐसा क्लॉज, ही केम, ही सॉ, these are the very famous lines of Napoleon Bonaparte. ठीक है? So he came, one clause, he saw another clause, and he conquered another clause. So for separating the clauses, we make use of a comma. ठीक है? Clauses को separate करने के लिए हम क्या करते हैं? Comma का use करते हैं, है ना? ठीक. जैसे और कोई लिख लें, when it rains, तो रुकावट हुई जब बारिश होगी तो, so there comes a pause, and so when pause comes, so comes comma. When it rains, I will enjoy. When it rains, I will enjoy. जब बारिश होती है तब भी enjoy करूंगा. ठीक है. So in order to separate the clauses, one makes use of a comma. Understood? तब हम comma का use करते हैं. ठीक है. So this is the use of comma when we are separating the clauses. So 4 rules total हो गए. तो देखने में लगता है अरे कॉमा में क्या है, कहीं भी पॉज हो कॉमा, लेकिन किस तरीके के सेंटेंसेस में, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ सेंटेंसेस, वेयर वी शुड पुट द कॉमा एग्जैक्टली, दैट वी हैव टू लर्न. डोंट यू थिंक सो? यस, वी हैव टू थिंक अबाउट. नाउ द सेकंड यूज इज फॉर सेपरेटिंग नाउन्स और प्रोनाउंस. ठीक है. दिस इज वन ऑफ द सिंपलेस्ट रूल्स ऑफ कॉमा. For separating nouns or pronouns. So, simple. Rohit, सहवाग, हेमंग. ठीक है. नाम लिखते जा रहे हैं तो हम उसको सेपरेट करते जा रहे हैं. अलग अलग नाउन है ये. These are different noun. So, रोहित, सहवाग, हेमंग and हार्दिक plant Mumbai's victory. If you remember the apostrophe rule, which I told in the apostrophe episode, where a unit or an organization is mentioned by the name itself, so apostrophe sign use करते हैं. This is that rule. याद है जब हमने apostrophe में पढ़ाया था कि किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का अगर नाम ही वैसा है लिखा हुआ हो, then apostrophe s is used. So मुंबई इंडियंस की जगह मुंबई's victory लिखेंगे. ठीक है. So here what we are doing, we are making use of comma because we are separating nouns. तो जितनी भी बार भी सब्जेक्ट्स आएंगे, प्रोनाउन आएगी तो प्रोनाउन में एक रूल याद रखना, 2-3-1 वाला. You, she and I are going on a picnic. ठीक है. 2-3-1 दिस रूल ये याद रखिए जब भी प्रोनाउन यूज करिए इन ए सेंटेंस. दिस आई हैव आल्सो टोल्ड अर्लियर इन सिंटैक्स. सो 2-3-1 रूल आल्सो यू शुड रिमेंबर. कॉमा तो हमने लगाया ही है फॉर सेपरेटिंग द प्रोनाउंस, but we are supposed to remember this 2-3-1. Second person, third person, and first person pronoun. That is the rule of pronoun. If first, second person pronoun will be used, then third person, and then first person. Remember this. What? Number. Okay, you will not make mistake. So for separating nouns and pronouns, we make use of comma. Okay. Noun pronoun को separate करने के लिए हम comma का use करते हैं. Now, next is next क्या है? So if you decide that you can learn it, only a few days of practice with the English grammar book. Take a punctuation exercise. First, study all the episodes. Take a punctuation exercise and start doing certain sentences. You won't make a mistake. Okay. Now, the next use is for when we are using reported speech and reporting verb. Reported speech and reporting verb. Where is it used? In narration. Narration की जो sentences होते हैं. So, in reported speech, and इसको लिखते समय while writing them we are supposed to be careful. We are supposed to use comma. इसको लिखते समय comma लगाने का ध्यान रखिए. Reported speech और reporting verb में. For example, जैसे लिखें he said. So when we are writing he said, reporting verb, then we are supposed to use comma here, then start with the inverted comma. He is busy. ठीक है. So when we are using reporting verb, then we are supposed to use a comma. समझ आया? Have you understood or not? She says, you are beautiful. She says you are beautiful. Tareef. Oh, tareef ho gayi. I look beautiful. So who does not like that? Everybody likes it. है ना? Everybody likes to be tareefed, to be appreciated. So सभी को appreciation पसंद होता है. So for that, we are supposed to use a comma when we are separating the reporting verb and the reporting speech. Reported speech and reporting verb. है? जिसमें थोड़ा सा और करेक्शन यहाँ पे लिख दें तो आपको ज्यादा सही लगेगा, है ना? फॉर separating reported speech and reporting. Then I hope it will be clear to you that for separating them we are supposed to use a comma. Understood? And when there is one more rule, in fact 2 more rules are there, in fact 3 more rules are there, in fact 4 more rules are there. सोच रहे हो कि सर को भी क्या हो जाता है? सर को कुछ नहीं हो जाता है. Just want to tell you all the proper rules of comma. I don't want you to lag behind in anything. Okay. So the next use is when you are writing a letter. When we write a letter and we use salutation. And we do complimentary closing. So whenever we are closing the letter writing or whether we are writing it digitally or on paper, whenever we are closing or using salutation, we are supposed to use comma. In salutation क्या होता है? That respected word we use. Dear sir, comma लगाइए. Dear madam, put a comma. Respected sir, my dear Rohit. So whenever you are using salutation, when you're writing a letter writing, don't we write this? हम ये लिखते हैं ना, इसको क्या कहते हैं? Salutation. When we are addressing someone, starting the letter. So whenever you are writing it, always use a comma. ठीक? And in complimentary closing. When you are closing the letter writing, then also you are supposed to. जो लोग हमने देखा मिस कर देते हैं. It's an important point. We should not. ये सब मिस्टेक्स हैं. जब आप बहुत बड़े स्तर पर जाएंगे, मैनेजर डायरेक्टर की पोस्ट पर जाएंगे, and the company multinational corporations are selecting you for the post of a manager or director, etc. in future, maybe 10, 15, 20 years from now. Then ये सारी चीजें बहुत बारीकी से देखी जाती हैं. These things are seen very, very minutely. So you are supposed to be very careful about the use of this, right? So in complimentary closing, what are we going to do? We are supposed to use a comma. Yours lovingly, comma. Your loving friend, comma. Okay, so when we are closing this sentence, letter, then also you are supposed to use a comma. Never forget that. ऐसा नहीं है कि comma नहीं use करना है. Whenever salutation you are using, starting the letter, addressing someone, then you are supposed to use comma after salutation. And नहीं मालूम था salutation तो अब समझ आ गया. And complimentary closing इसको बोलते हैं. कोई पूछे क्या कहते हैं? Complimentary closing. कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री मतलब जो नेसेसरी है, ठीक है. और सैल्यूटेशन मींस एड्रेस टू समवन. तो समझ में आ गया इनको क्या कहते हैं? अलग से भी बता दिया. 2 रूल्स यू हैव, थिंग्स यू हैव टुडे कम टू नो दैट दीज आर कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री क्लोजिंग एंड सैल्यूटेशन एंड कॉमा कैसे यूज करना है. समझ आया? नाउ नेक्स्ट रूल See, with studying with Ankur it can be very, very interesting. Don't you think so? Where have you been? I hadn't seen a while. I had it on me somewhere in the crowd. So you can also sing like that in an English tone if you master learning English. And if you stay with me, I am sure in an year you can be a very, very good speaker of English, provided you follow my tips. I have already posted many episodes of pronunciation. So you see those episodes, read those sentences on a regular basis, and then definitely one day you can speak as good as I speak. Now, next rule is for separating. नेक्स्ट रूल क्या है? डेट. डेट हम मेंशन करने, तो डेट को सेपरेट करने के लिए भी कॉमा लगाया जाता है. मोस्टली लोग भूल जाते हैं. 2 जुलाई 1987, तो यहाँ पर कॉमा लगता है जब मंथ और ईयर दोनों एक साथ लिखे जाते हैं. 7 सितंबर 2024. So we are supposed to use a comma. लोग क्या करते हैं? सिंपली ये लिख देते हैं, कॉमा नहीं लगाते हैं. ये कॉमा बहुत एसेंशियल है. ठीक है? You are supposed to use comma. Definitely. ठीक है? Understood? And the last rule is for separating कंजंक्शंस को सेपरेट करने के लिए. जैसे अगर हम सेंटेंस लिखें आई therefore, हमने पहले सब्जेक्ट यूज किया, then I use a conjunction. So whenever we are doing such kind of a thing, we are supposed to use a comma at both the places. I therefore gave him my book. इसलिए मैंने उसको अपनी किताब दे दी. तो आई के बाद कॉमा लगेगा, कंजंक्शन के बाद भी कॉमा लगेगा, क्योंकि दिस कंजंक्शन इज कनेक्टिंग दिस सेंटेंस. ओके, कंजंक्शन का मतलब क्या है? जंक्शन. इट इज अ जंक्शन. Whereas we have railway junctions, those who don't know, those who don't understand conjunction, as we have railway junctions which connect us to other parts of the country. जंक्शन पे जाते हैं, रेलवे जंक्शन पे, तो क्या होता है? हमें दूसरे शहर के लिए ट्रेन मिलती है, किसी भी शहर के लिए ट्रेन मिलती है. लाइक वी हैव दिल्ली जंक्शन, लखनऊ जंक्शन, वाराणसी जंक्शन एंड सो ऑन एंड सो फोर्थ. सो वहां से कहीं के लिए भी ट्रेन मिल जाती है. तो जंक्शन वो क्या करते हैं? कनेक्ट करते हैं. तो सिमिलरली कंजंक्शन, a word which connects one word, phrase or sentence to another word, phrase or sentence, right? So in this way we are going to, or we have started a sentence with conjunction itself. Nevertheless, ठीक है, अगर हम डायरेक्टली कंजंक्शन से स्टार्ट करें तो भी लगेगा. Nevertheless, we agreed with him. तो अगर कंजंक्शन से शुरुआत कर रहे हैं तो भी कॉमा आएगा. ठीक है? Then also comma will be used. Understood? So these were some interesting rules of conjunction. Sorry, comma. These were some interesting rules of comma. And I have told you all the possible rules of comma, the places where people make mistakes, like use of salutation, use of complementary closing, case in apposition के केस में, timing के केस में, जहां पर मोस्टली लोग एरर कमिट करते हैं. They forget to use comma, possibly they don't know about it. So that's why these were something very, very important aspects of grammar, because punctuation plays a very, very important role, not only just in grammar but also in life. Everybody's life has a punctuation of feelings, punctuation of occasions, punctuation of problems. So as punctuation, so punctuation means different occasions, different things in life. So hope English is interesting with Ankur. You can keep coming back and follow us for more, because there are many other things in punctuation to be told. Keep learning with Ankur. Ciao.